So today we got a question from Mark, who is a purple belt, and he is 45 years old. And as most people that are in their 40s doing jiu-jitsu, especially if they've done it for a while, have learned, your body's not as resilient as it once was when you were younger, right? And he says that he's addicted to jiu-jitsu just like the rest of us, and he wants to keep training through a bit of injuries that he's having right now, because basically his choices are, I either sit on the shelf for 3 months to let this damn thing heal up because I'm older and it takes time to heal up, or I could maybe figure out how to roll lighter with some of my training partners. But his question to me is it fair to my training partners if I go lighter? Like if I turn down the intensity a little bit, if I tap a little early, if we avoid certain positions, is that fair to them? Should I do that, or should I just sit out? And that's kind of his question to me. So, brother, thank you for the question. And man, actually, believe it or not, when I was younger, I used to be basically anti-light roll. I hated it. I was young and stupid, and I thought that the only way you get better at jiu-jitsu is just go hard all the time. As I've gotten older, start to change your tune a little bit, and you find smarter ways to get the same amount, same effect done. And one of the things that's been really beneficial sometimes is rolling with injured people. Because for me, I don't know what it is about it. It's like just the roll doesn't count. And so I'm able to play around with a lot of things that I maybe wouldn't normally. And because of that, I end up finding a lot of really cool stuff out when I'm rolling with people that are a little bit injured because I'm not trying to go all that hard. Great example was back in 2019. 2020 seems like a time warp, right? Like it doesn't exist. But in 2019, I remember early on training with one of my training partners who was a brown belt then, black belt now. Guy's been with me for a decade. Very similar situation to what you're in right now. He's coming back from some injuries, wants to train, loves being in the gym, and was just had to take it easy. And so he had to play off of his back, and you had to be careful kind of because of the injury, putting heavy pressure on him. So when we rolled, he does this thing where he's really good with the lapels, right? He loves like the Keenan Cornelius videos and stuff. He watches this stuff, learns how to use them. And so when we roll, I sort of let him put me in the lapel stuff, let him tie me up because I don't like being tied up in the lapels. It frustrates the piss out of me, but it's good for me, right? It's good for me to have those feelings where I'm having to fight out of things I don't like. So I let him tie me up. He's got me into a gi pretzel, and then I got to figure my way out of it. Now, what ended up happening was through that roll, I ended up figuring out this weird grip. It's a weird lapel grip that you can break grips off of, or you can use to break lapels and cross collars off like a snap, no problem. Those of you that have my Get a Grip series, it's in that series. Look for the tentacle. That's what that is, okay? But so I start using this grip, and I ended up using this grip several times in competition later on. In some cases where it helped me win the matches. And I remember actually in 2019 after the Nashville tournament, walking off the mat in my head thinking, man, I'm so glad I rolled with him during that time period because that grip saved my butt. And so again, is it beneficial to you? Or is it beneficial to your training partners? If they go about it the right way, I think it can be really beneficial to them. If they don't see the value in it, that's their own thing. But for me, those kinds of rolls, and I have lots of stories like that one, where I figure things out with just rolling with some of my training partners that we need to go a little bit lighter with. I've learned a lot of stuff like that. And so I think it can be very beneficial. Again, I understand the desire to want to go hard. I love going hard. I do it all the time. I do it every week. We go hard on some level. But there's value to going a little bit lighter sometimes and learning to play with things and figuring things out, because that's like humans. That's our default way of learning, is just playing with stuff and figure things out. I mean, watch a child, the way that they play with things. They figure things out not through being taught the right or wrong way all the time, but sometimes just figuring things out. And so it's a way to sort of turn down the intensity, go a little bit lighter, and just tinker with stuff. And again, you're going light, so it doesn't even matter. There's no win or really lose to it. Again, we all know this. We know that there's not supposed to be this win and lose mentality, but we still get competitive. It's why people feel like they're worried about their progress or whatever. It is what it is. But during this time period where you're rolling with someone that's injured, you're not really worried about winning because it's like they're injured. Like if I beat the injured guy, what does it matter? So it can allow a lot more play to enter in and be useful. So it can be useful to you. It can be useful to your training partners. You just got to make sure you pick them. And if they say that they're not wanting to roll light, be mindful of that. And also make sure you pick your training partners out. Don't find the guy that just came out of college wrestling who wants to go hard every single round and roll with that guy while you're injured. Find someone that's willing to slow it down with you a little bit. So hopefully that's useful. Hopefully it's a couple ideas to chew on that are useful to you in your training. And I'll talk to you guys next time.